All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Angela Hood. I'm the founder and CEO of ThisWay Global, and I'm so glad you've joined us for the AI Trust Guild podcast. So today I have my friends from IBM, Trevor and Rusty. Y'all have joined us before. We had a really good conversation, and at the end, you said, "Hey, I want to ask you questions about being a partner." So we're going to allow you to turn the tables. So who's leading in this? Who's gonna grill me?
I'll be happy to start if you'd like. So I think when we previously met, we were talking about, we kind of started with how we got here, right? So I've been in the channel here for about 14 years. I came over through an acquisition. So, I think Trevor mentioned it the last time we met, is how much our partnership has changed. How are we getting to that 80% goal, right? And how much has changed just in the last few years. And I've kind of seen that because I was a partner rep. I managed a team of partner reps, and I kind of slowly worked into this role with distribution. So I get to work with all kinds of partners. And one of the things that I always feel like should be the first question to ask any partner is, how do you see the value that you're getting out of this partnership? So that'd be question one.
Okay, all right. So I would say that, as a early stage startup, I mean, we're not brand new company. We've been around a while, but that companies always wonder, like, are you really as good as people say you are? And okay, you've won awards, but what does that mean? And so we have a ton of customers. We have thousands of customers. And some of them are federal and some are biggest companies in the world. We have early stage startups. When we were accelerated by Google, we saw the first time that an external, very large organization validated that we were the real deal.
Yeah.
But when we forged the partnership with IBM, and when I was asked to give the keynote with Rob Thomas at Think, it put us on a different tier, a different map. And what's even cooler about that is we have then been able to bring in more partners that we were able to guide. Like, what did we do to become a good partner with IBM and with TD SYNNEX, and kind of give them some guidance on what they can do to make the most of that relationship. So I think it was the third party validation, and also just the exposure that we've been able to get through IBM. It's been incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I think you said it the other day, and I appreciated it because it's the way I think of how we're going to market with our AI. It's our approach. That to me is the biggest differentiator between us and any competitor at the enterprise level, for sure. Is how we approach AI. It's not a just throw this together and piece it together and call it AI. It is very much a tactical, targeted approach to governing how you're going to release AI and how it's going to impact your business. And I love that. I mean, it puts a lot of faith, in my company. I'm like, wow, that's the way everybody should be treating AI. Yeah. Sorry, Trevor, did you have a question for her?
Yeah, no, hey, no, that was I think that was a great lead in. And Angela, thank you for being so candid. And it's interesting, you mentioned Google, you mentioned IBM, two very large vendors, and you've done a really great job of making sure those vendors believe in what you're doing, and that's not a small task, and you've mobilized both companies to go to market with you. I'm just curious. So what are some of the best practices? So I'm not speaking as a vendor, so to speak, here, but in terms of other companies, not that you want to give away your trade secrets, but just what were some of the things that really added a ton of value, whether it's from IBM or from Google, in your journey up to this point? or any other vendor?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. When you're a company and you're innovative, and you start talking about that you're doing something, sometimes people don't necessarily even understand that it's a problem. So, one of our things our technology does is it removes bias in people, processes, and platforms. And yes, that has a lot to do with talent acquisition, but it also is a problem in every other aspect of business.
Yeah.
In finance is probably one of the biggest problems that the finance world has is the bias that's applied in who gets healthcare and how much does insurance cost and who gets a mortgage loan and what's the interest rate of that loan. There's so much bias that's baked into that entire process. And IBM was one of the first companies, I would say, or maybe the company that most understood that at a global level. Like they're like, we get that. We actually get the problem. We actually understand how important it is that it gets solved. And we are going to do what is necessary to make sure that that technology is made available to our customer base.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 steps that you're asking a company that's hundreds of thousands of people, over 100 years old. Not every company can be that agile when they're this big and have been around this long. And I think that's the thing that people just completely forget or lose sight of is an interesting statistic is if you look back at the Fortune 500 companies that were in existence in the year 2000, over half of them are gone. Yeah. Not that they got delisted, not that they got acquired. They are gone. And they're gone because they didn't move. They didn't learn. They didn't know how to partner. They didn't know how to truly be agile for the world. And to Rusty's point, they did not figure out the thing that IBM figured out, which is we have to move. I give the example tortoise and hare all the time, that IBM understood that we are going to have to assume the role of tortoise because our customer base expects that of us. They expect us to make sure that they are de-risked in this innovative inflection point that we have right now. And no one else did that. No one, not another company did it. And that's the thing I always say, IBM will end up winning. People were kind of slow to coming around to that, but I think what the share price is doing at IBM right now, you can see that the world is starting to figure it out.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, actually, in a lot of ways. Because again, when I think back of even the last few years, the changes we've made in our partnering program and how we're going to market with our products, putting them out there so people can try before they buy. Where it's funny, I get the tortoise metaphor because to me that is the best approach to AI, right? For a company, take your time, plan this out, really think about the data you want to connect and the insights you want out of it to further your business. But we're running like the hare internally, and I don't remember us ever running, and I don't mean just with crazy abandon, but I mean we have become so much more agile. We call it clock speed. Like we're constantly reminded, hey, we got to run at clock speed. And I like that mantra. And that's been a big change in the last few years because the channel of old that I was a part of, it was a lot of teeth pulling to get IBM really working with the partner. And I think now IBM's kind of put their hands around the partner, right? We want open AI. We want open models. We want to work with partners to build those products and those models. That's a big difference, I think, in the way that we go to market, and one that obviously is making an impact.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think I've seen the difference. So we've been a partner for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I've seen a transition in the last 3 years that I've come to plan in December to prepare for what's going to happen in January, because I'm not quite sure what the change is going to be. But what I've noticed, it's an acceleration. It's like, there's a strategy that gets put in place, and then in January, things start to happen. And that's why I think people love going to Think, in fact, is because I think the market knows that, the customers know that, and when they go to think, they find out what has actually been put in place for them on behalf of them.
Yeah.
And then the partners are able to, by that point in time, the partners are able to explain it to the customer base.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. And speaking of planning in December and clock speed, I feel like we literally went from December 31st to the end of March. So I'm not sure what the last like 3 months
Yes.
Where they went, but that also is part of what makes these roles great. But just going back to what you said, Angela, about the tortoise and the hare, I mean, I feel like there's a governance aspect to that as well. Even though we're hyper focused on clock speed. And Rusty, I love what you said. Like we are running like the hare internally, right? Because we have just business is moving, and partnerships are moving and investments are moving at a much more accelerated pace today than they were. And I look at IBM and TD SYNNEX and what we're doing together around generative AI specifically. TD's got a program called Destination AI that's public. I probably can't go into too much detail here, but just know that there is a lot that IBM and TD SYNNEX are doing together to enable that program.
I have a question, Trevor. I'm going to turn it back on you.
Go ahead. Yes.
How are we doing as a partner? How is ThisWay doing as a partner?
Yeah, I think ThisWay as a partner, like fit's not the right word, but when I go back to, we want to prove out solutions before they're monetized. We want to show the value and demonstrate it versus starting big. Our whole partner philosophy is honestly, I mean, it's product-led growth, right? It starts small, it's prove it, it's land and expand. We're totally okay if that first instance is $10,000, $25,000. Again, with the right nurturing to get it to a lifetime value and a lifetime client. And I think ThisWay Global, just given your model, given the issues that you guys are tackle's not the right word, but you're trying to impact, right? You're trying to take, one of your use cases is taking bias out of the hiring process. I mean, it's critically important. I just think there's complete alignment with your mission and IBM's partner mission today. And honestly, like we couldn't be happier to be working together. And gone are the days of just focusing on resell in the large enterprise space. And look, IBM and many other large vendors do a great job in the enterprise space because we have to. Those clients count on us to run their business. Yeah. I would just say now, just given the investments that have been made over time, right? And Red Hat's just one example into our software and hybrid cloud and AI portfolio and with the notion of product-led growth, and we can go deeper into what that actually means. It's a great time to partner with a company like ThisWay Global, knowing the clients that you serve and knowing the clients that IBM wants to serve as well.
And I want to jump in here because even as a partner, and this may be something as you guide other partners, it wasn't ever just about resale, right? You have made yourself, or ThisWay Global has made yourself available to IBM, right? You're helping revolutionize and change our product with your feedback. And that's a very time-consuming task for a business, right? Is to truly partner with us. And that, I think that is why, you were at Think on stage with Rob Thomas. I think those things matter. And I think any partner that comes in should expect that they can work like that if they so choose, right? That's the kind of partnerships we are building at this point, right? We want to be inclusive. We want to get feedback. I know Trevor and I do that a ton with TD SYNNEX. And I can flat out say we've improved a lot between that to help your business, is just listening and trying to take those suggestions to heart and make those changes. So I love that about ThisWay Global. You guys are always willing to kind of come to the table on various things. So,
well, and I think this is an important part, is that the team, and I mean the IBM team, I think they've learned that that is our intention. You know, we're not complaining. We're saying, like, this is what the customer is saying, and can you hear us? And we do have a voice. It does get heard, and we get to see the customer success evolve out of that. And I do think it makes us much tighter. For our two companies to be able to kind of get in lockstep with each other. When I say this to other partners, they're always surprised that this is what I tell them. They're like, no, that's not really happening. I'm like, I promise you, it really is happening. But it's because of also when we had our partnership forum. So just to kind of recap, everyone that's a partner with us for the Watson X Orchestrate product, those partners are invited to an executive forum. And it's every quarter we have one, and it's like an offsite for partners, if you think of it that way. It's one day. And this year we invited both of you, and you both came. And the rest of the partners saw that as a reflection on IBM's commitment to partners. You were able to explain the going from 40% of the revenue generated for IBM to 80% will come from partners. And the other thing we discussed there was the 100,000 new logos, which is crazy to me, because I just think that's a huge commitment. So Arvid said that, this is the CEO of IBM. He has said to the partners and to IBM at large, we're going to have 100,000 new logos, new companies as customers by the end of 2025. Mm-hmm. So, wow, that's huge. It's part of the reason why we wanted to be part of this partnership with IBM, is because we wanted to be with a company that is aggressive on growth. Like, for our type of company, that's just how we operate on a daily basis. And I don't think we would have been excited for the partnership had Arvid not said things like that. I was like, okay, this is the man we can get behind too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, there's absolute commitment. Up and down the organization. It's in our DNA, and not just the people that are in the ecosystem. So we've fundamentally changed our partner program, right? It's a new program called Partner. Well, it's not new anymore. I mean, it was new last year, right? But
last year,
I still feel like it's new, because I don't know if y'all realize this. We joined, and inside of a year, it moved to Partner Plus. So we were just getting our feet wet, and we were like, oh, there's a new partner plan. Yeah,
but it really is. Any firm that wants to go to market with our technology, we're going to stand beside you, right? Whether you're a reseller, whether you want to build on our technology, whether you want to service and deploy, there's a home for everybody, and we're going to meet you where you are. And
so can you explain for our audience, just so you know, a lot of our audience will be people that are technology companies themselves. Mm-hmm. So can you explain, let's talk about the TAM of IBM and AI products. So what is the current kind of customer account of IBM? Where does IBM operate? So where in the world? And how many people are out there actively selling the AI and the data products for IBM?
So I don't have.
Okay.
I'm just saying. We could talk about. I know this will probably be edited, but we can talk about. Honestly, I'd probably answer that saying, hey, like we're everywhere. We're in pretty much all the developed countries. We've launched Watson X. We've got got this force.
Just answer it like that.
Yeah.
All right. I'll ask you a different question.
Okay. Rusty, unless you want to answer it differently, I don't want to step on.
No, I mean, I could probably pin it down to like the TD Cynics, but it's a tough one to answer globally, right? So maybe rephrase your question, or if you want.
Yeah. Do we know any specifics in the US market?
I don't have them offhand, but I mean, I know, so according to McKinsey, right, AI adoption has doubled in the last 5 years. And
Okay.
according to other multiple public sources, the AI market is going to double. How would I say it? According to public sources, many
Yeah.
people, consulting companies believe AI is going to double every 2 years for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right, I'll ask you a different question then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, as an AI company, obviously we are tracking the TAM of our market and adoption of AI on a regular basis. I will tell you what we see, and then I would love to see your perspective, because I do think this is the thing I've learned is that a company the size of IBM has like a different perspective on the market because you touch different aspects of the market than maybe we do. So what we've been seeing is that right now there's only about 7% of businesses that are actually using AI in like their daily operations. Now there's some people that are tipping their toe in it. And so then it becomes, what is the speed of adoption and how quickly do we multiply companies being able to use it on a daily basis? So do y'all have any frame of reference around the TAM for AI companies?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's almost like the fourth industrial revolution, right? So it's either innovate, accelerate, or follow really, really fast.
Yeah.
And terms that are habitual now, right? Like ChatGPT or large language models. They're in the everyday lexicon, right? They're at your dinner table. I think back to this might be a little obscure, but if you think of the Saturday Night Live skit around NFTs,
Yes.
I feel like there's one comment around large language models, but it's here, right? It's here. And it has been here. And, you can go out to multiple, public sources, and they all say, in my opinion, they all say different versions of the same thing, right? And even though your stat of 7%, like that 7% has doubled in the last 5 years. And now what many companies believe is that the generative AI market is going to double, every 2 to 3 years going forward for the next 10, right? And the investments are following. And I just, how are we living that with IBM and TD SYNNEX? I can tell you, almost every investment dollar between our two companies is focused on generative AI and our Watson X platform. But with that speed of adoption is the backdrop of deep philosophical debates on trust and transparency and in some cases humanity. So no small tasks that our partners and clients are faced with AI. But we see that companies are moving from running their business with plus AI, right?
Yep.
For certain things, and moving more towards if you call it like an AI first, almost like an AI first approach, and really figuring out how can you deploy AI in a trustworthy way to make better decisions, generate content, and automate processes and workflows.
So to that point, did you know that our company is the first company to ever be approved by the IBM AI Ethics Board?
That's awesome. Doesn't surprise me.
Does not surprise me at all. Does not surprise me.
But it was brutal. So I always tell people,
Sure
I think people just think, oh, well, you just send them something and then they check. Oh, no. Like 6 months of things and meetings and analysis and, oh my gosh, I was like, this is brutal. So yeah, I'm glad it happens, because it means that I know that when I'm working with another company inside the IBM ecosystem, that they went through the same thing. But wow.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're you get a phone call home from school about your kid, right? And maybe you feel like the school's being a little too nitpicky, or maybe they're being a little too specific. But then you think about it and go, okay, well, I'm glad if my kid was on the other side, that other
That's
parent getting is getting the same phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but we were very happy to have gotten through it. But I will say I can attest that IBM is the absolute real deal when they are saying we are making sure that we're delivering products and AI technologies that are compliant and that they do comply with governance, and because it is a risky place to be in. But also, I think the bigger risk is just like we were talking about the Fortune 500 companies that didn't adopt and didn't innovate, they're gone.
Yeah.
So that's much riskier to me, right? So this is why I've always said IBM's the right bet, because companies will know that they're going to be safe by using IBM technologies. Okay, so Trevor, I know that when we're having partner meetings internally with the product and engineering team, there's a lot of discussion about product-led growth. If not everyone understands what that means, really, there's sales-led growth, marketing-led growth, and product-led growth. And sales-led growth in software is kind of exactly what we think. We get emails and then we try to get a demo set up and that. Marketing is more, here's a white paper, sign up for it, have a demo. But product-led growth is, here's the product. Go play around in it. Find out that it works for you. Find out the part that you really want to know more about. And then we'll actually have a conversation, or you can just buy online and just keep using it. And it's super easy. And I think the modern way really good products go to market is through product-led growth. So now I hear IBM talking about it all the time. Is this real? Is the commitment really there? Because this changes the game, I think, for how companies think of IBM.
Yeah, no, you Angela, you hit it on the head. I mean, so when you talk about 100,000 net new clients, and you talk about our ecosystem contribution to software moving from 40% to 80%, and again, we've moved from 15% to 40% in the last couple of years.
That's wild.
With tremendous momentum, and one of the ways that we are doing that is we are fundamentally evolving and modernizing our software portfolio to be much more conducive to product-led growth. So what does that mean, right? I mean, first, it places our products at the heart of the customer journey. So we've talked previously about show me, don't tell me, prove it before monetization, start small and scale, land and expand. $25,000 can, if we do it right, turns into a lifetime value potentially of $250 with our partners. We can't do it without partners. So that's probably the first thing. Then we want to make sure that we've got good product and market fit, right? So focusing on markets like generative AI, automation, sustainability, security. We want to deliver the value before it's monetized, right? So making sure that we've got the client engineering teams across the world that can demo the products with our partners. Our partners can do it themselves, and make sure that the clients, they believe in the technology and they prove it before we move to monetization. We want to meet clients however they want to consume, right? Whether it's SaaS, whether it's subscription, whether it's on-prem, that's totally fine. Let the client, deploy where they like. And there also needs to be a modern acquisition experience, right? So if you think about the partnerships we've struck with AWS and Microsoft, which again, it sounds right. It sounds crazy. IBM and Microsoft and AWS are partnering, and the answer is absolutely, right? So a lot of our products are available on the AWS marketplace, on the Azure marketplace. All of our distributors have cloud marketplaces where we have products available. And again, we're focused on the highest value, segments in the market. AI, as I said before, AI, sustainability, and automation.
Right.
So that's just high level how we've evolved. And this year we've got close to 40 of our software products that I guess you'd consider product-led growth that would fit the mold that I just talked about.
That is crazy. I mean, it would take most companies just for one product-led growth product would take them 5 years. So you're just like, oh, we just have 40. Here we go. That's the scale that IBM has. It's always fascinating. All right. So Rusty, what do you think? Do you think, because you're there talking to the partners, do you think the partners, aside from us, we are all about product-led growth? I was so happy when I heard this news. Do you think everyone else is happy? Do you think there's maybe some hesitation? Because it is very different.
I honestly, everything I've heard has been very positive.
Right.
And kind of, hey, get more out there. And I think it's because, the client journey's evolved. I mean, most of us, right, we're on our phones just as consumers doing research on whatever it is we think we need to buy so far early. So, 97% of buyers are they want to take that journey without sales interaction. I think, 74% of buyers' research is done before they've contacted a vendor. So getting our products out there to kind of allow those in clients to play and try before they buy, see pricing online is huge. And I think it's actually helping partners come in and do the remaining lift to get that client the rest of the way forward and get that product installed and creating benefit. So I've heard nothing but positive.
Well, and I think the difference too is that we get customers using the product. And so this is Watson X Orchestrate in particular.
Yeah.
We have them using the product within, a couple of days. And it's usually the couple of days is not because of anything on IBM side or our side. It's that the customer is trying to round up the right people to get onboarded. That's what the delay is.
Yeah.
And then they all get onboarded and they're using the product. That moment they're using the product. Our goal as a company, as a partner, is to deliver value in no more than 30 minutes. Meaning that there's demonstrable value generated for the customer in the first 30 minutes that they've touched the product.
And that's crazy. If we'd have said that 10 years ago, 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
That's awesome.
It's got to be easy. It's got to be or easier, right? We've got to minimize the barriers of entry. And when I look at things like, just the tiered pricing, the ease of adding features and upgrades and just how nimble the products can be. It's to your point, Angela. It's got to be easy, and you got to be able to prove the value.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I love the fact that we touched on that point. I think it's really good. So I appreciate y'all coming on. I appreciate the fact that you wanted to find out more about us being a partner with IBM. It is, even with 3 years in, I feel like we've only just started. So it's really exciting what we're going to be able to do together.
Can't wait.
100%. Ready to do more.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you joining.
All right. Thanks.